Breaking news.
Breaking news. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to let that repeat one more time. Let people see that. We are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to let that repeat
one more me? Time. That might be me.
See that.
Nope.
Yeah. Is it? Who is it? Who's giving me that feedback? So,
it's not me.
Yeah. So we are live. If you're joining us, give everybody a couple seconds to get in here. But if they do, I see two people in the.
Get in here.
Yeah. So yeah, we are discussing a very serious issue. I would say it's serious for those who are putting out indie comics. Troubling situation. And that is, if you couldn't tell by the imagery that we used, the Krakenprint situation. For those of you not in the know, Krakenprint is a printer of independent comics and literature. And then I think they print some prose novels and some children's books and other things. And there are several printers around the country, much more than there were in the 80s, right, Randy?
Oh, yeah.
And now you have a lot of people. We have so many different printers out there now. In fact, I think today's indie artists might be spoiled for choice when it comes to finding a printer. Krakenprint was making a lot of waves, no pun intended, and they were able to bring in what seemed to be quality product at a really good price. The first time that I understood there were problems was late in 2018 when I had became aware that some of the books, people were saying they weren't getting their books on time. That is, I can understand that happening. You're dealing with high volumes of customers coming to you, having books printed. From what I understand, I could be incorrect in this. I believe they were printing their books overseas.
That was kind of my impression, or at least some of them.
Yeah, some of the books were getting printed overseas and then brought here. Well, and so I can understand how delays and whatnot can become an issue, especially when now with the new tariffs and everything. I kind of wondered how companies like that would survive. Well, and it says they do not. Well, came to my attention. Lewis, was it Thursday? Was it Wednesday or Thursday? Came to my attention because I brought it. I told you about it when I.
Yeah, you told me on Friday. So
okay, yeah, so it wasn't. Yeah, okay.
Thursday.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, guys. Krakenprint is effectively out of business. They are no longer accepting orders for books, and as such, the website is down. Their Facebook is still there, but the website is down. And
is there anyone answering their Facebook page?
Not from the people I spoke to.
Yeah,
no one's answering Facebook. No one's answering emails. There were some people, I guess, up to 2 weeks ago, kind of answering emails. Not 2 weeks ago, about 2 months ago, answering emails, but now
no response for the media now.
No response. So this is where it gets dirty, guys. This is where it gets. This is where we start, really digging into what's going on here. Their warehouse, the warehouse they were storing their books in, began contacting creators through email and informing them that their books will be auctioned/liquidated if they don't pay their share of the Krakenprint bill. I want to say that again. Their books will be liquidated or auctioned if they don't pay their half of the Krakenprint storage bill.
Which apparently means that Kraken hasn't paid their bill in 60 to 90 days?
Yes. The last time they got a payment, I believe they said it may have been at least at least June. For the storage facility that already, their portion of the storage facility they're using. This obviously puts some creators in a very bad spot. If you have books out there with Krakenprint, TWE Chicago is the warehouse that you'll want to get in contact with to tell them. We did run this story on IndieVolt.com, but you're going to want to get in touch with them and see if you can secure your books.
And we're going to post the contact information on screen.
Yeah, I'll post the contact information on screen.
Here in the comments.
I'll post it in the comments, and I'll also put it on this video in the description of this video because I don't want anybody, to lose their books. Some people.
And you have to wonder if they have the Kraken bookkeeping there to know how much they actually owe.
Well, here's the thing, guys. I've been investigating since I found out about this. I've been digging deep, and I've been trying to come up with scenarios to help my fellow publishers. And I reached out to TWE Chicago, and I emailed the person, the contact person on the situation, a young lady named Jennifer Bunger, and I emailed her.
That's the person these publishers need to contact?
Yes. It'd be best for you to contact Jennifer Bunger, and so she can let you know if you have books there and if you want to get them, how much it's going to cost. I know one publisher who says I think he owes $350. He has to pony up. That is not including freight. So, I don't want anybody going here and get sticker shock, but these are hefty fines and hefty fees you're gonna have to pay to get your books.
Not just the Kraken bill, then, huh?
No, because you got to pay. You got to get your books out of the warehouse. I'm assuming
that'd almost be worth driving over there, depending upon where you're at.
Yeah,
and picking them up directly.
Yeah, it would be
just to get them. Make sure you have them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I emailed
because a lot of times it's cheaper even to rent a van and spend the gas in order to go get them, as opposed to waiting for some of these freight companies to get around and get them to you.
Get a buddy with a van. It costs me. I'm in Michigan. I'm in Michigan. It cost me $40 to get to Chicago,
and a day.
So, yeah. Well,
and a day's time. Probably 4 hours from where you're at.
Yeah,
they're probably an hour or two just to pick the books up, and then another 4 hours back.
Yeah.
So, and time is money.
Yeah, that is. I contacted Jennifer and I explained to her that about IndieVolt, and we're trying to get the word out. Mm-hmm. And I told her it was my hope that fellow publishers in the business could get secure their books. I did ask her about a time and a place for the auction or liquidation or plans. She could not give me any of that back or any of that information. Well, she did email me back. And
probably because they hadn't scheduled it yet. They're probably just pressing past the 90-day mark.
Well, initially when the news broke, it was everyone had a week. Everyone had a week. But I'm going to read the email that I got back from Jennifer Bunger. It says, "Hi there, Ian. Thank you for reaching out. At this time, we are trying to contact the creators directly prior to a formal auction liquidation sale. We will post a list of titles on our Facebook page sometime by Tuesday. Unfortunately, I am getting many emails like this, and responding to each is taking away time from getting a list together as well as servicing our other customers. If Krakenprint printed books for you and you believe you are missing any, please send me the title and I will let you know if it's here. Thank you, Jennifer." And I do want to thank Jennifer for actually getting back to me, because Jennifer this is not her job really to get back to people on this. I mean, she shouldn't have to. No. And the people who should be getting back to people are Krakenprint and its CEO. Now, reaching out to the CEO didn't work. You'll get blocked. I know this because I'm blocked.
A blocked response to the media.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonderful.
So,
and not just to the media, but to other individuals whom we have reached out to.
Yeah.
To ask him as well.
It's just a statement. Hey, how are you going to get these books to people? What's going on?
Then there's been multiple blocks that you know of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The CEO, anybody who says anything at last point, the guy had blocked some people. I think he had 36 friends on Facebook left. The CEO's name is Jacob Way. That's public information. Now, I've contacted the state of Illinois, find out, hey, what can be done, and they tell me that he can close his company without filing with them by the book he's supposed to file, but the company is still listed as an active company in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have to file officially till the end of the year.
Now, there's been people,
I would imagine.
Yeah, that could be the case.
Yeah.
There have been people who have told me, and I've read on Vonn. Sorry, there's some hair in my face from my beautiful hat. Some people have told me that Jacob has been saying that he has a partner. He has a partner who is supposed to be handling the situation over at Kraken. He was taking care of the printing. He was no longer part of the printing side of Kraken, and he was thinking about selling his half and getting out of the printing game because he wanted to concentrate on his board game pursuits. Now, the problem with that is that I was looking around, and I can't find any partner officially listed on any type of filed, like
paperwork.
I can't find any partner. The only person listed as an agent is still Jacob Way. So Jacob needs to step forward and be held accountable. Hey, Jacob, pay. Are you gonna? I mean, I know if you don't have the money, that's fine. I've been broke. I think everybody on this channel has been broke at some point. But you have people who are very upset with you, and so much so that I was following the situation on social media, and an individual, I won't say their name, went to Jacob's house because his address is publicly available, and served him notice that he was going to take this to small claims court.
Share the photo of that if you can.
Let me see here if I can pull it up. I
want people to see this house.
Yeah. Let me see here.
I shouldn't say this house. This building. I mean, it is presumably it's a house, but you'll understand when you see the picture.
It's it's a very sad situation. And I know people say, well, how is it sad? This isn't sad, but it really is something that you hate to see happen to fellow creators, because so many times a lot of people put their money into these books and that's all they have, and they rely on these books to be there for them, continuing on into the future. I'm not going to, let me see if I can save this picture here of his house, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to out him here, his address. I'm going to dox him on social media.
No, that's not what I meant to do.
Yeah. Let me see if I can
blur out the address or something.
Well, I don't have to blur out the address, but I need to at least not put the street there, because the person who posted the picture, they put his address up too. And,
okay.
So he's already been doxxed, or has this come to you? This came directly to you?
Well, it came directly to me, and but his address it's easy to find. It's on all the public documents for Kraken. So I mean, it's not hard to find. Is
this his personal house or Kraken headquarters?
Both.
Seems to be both.
Oh,
yeah, both. So
apparently, that's what it seems to be.
This guy got a hold of the CEO when he went to tell him he was taking him to small claims court.
Yep, put a note on his door. I'm trying to pull the phone.
Oh, then he didn't come to the door.
No, he didn't come to the door. No.
So nobody's seen this guy.
No.
Right.
No. Unfortunately, guys, have you ever heard of a situation like this happening before?
I'm not sure if we have or not, Randy.
It's not surprising. Nothing really comes to mind. I know.
Well,
I was there when Prinny went out of business.
yeah,
But they didn't leave anybody hanging like that.
yeah.
In fact, I ended up with a balance due to Prinny
Mhm.
that wasn't paid, and he told me just not to worry about it.
Mhm.
But
Well, I'm trying to remember. Were there some when Caliber went on hiatus and we got the diamond monopolization around that era? Weren't there distributors that were holding books?
oh yeah, there was a number of distributors that went out that told, especially Arrow, because I was working with Arrow at the time, that they were out of luck. Yeah, they could file bankruptcy papers or that they can file claims against the bankruptcy, but they'd be lucky to see a dime on the dollar. And I think that's how it settled out. Ralph would know a lot more about that than I would.
I want to bring this to you guys' attention because in 2018, Bleeding Fool ran an article about
Crowdfunding fulfillment.
Yeah, it says David felt that delays sometimes happen and should be something that's taken into account, of course, but that a delay of 41 days seemed quite excessive. I'm sure most of us around here might tend to agree. So, of course, I reached out to Krakenprint to find out what they might have to say on the matter. Very quickly, I was able to reply from the CEO of Krakenprint, Mr. Jacob Way. Jacob Way is listed as the CEO of the company. So, I don't know.
Really, he's the owner of the big owner of the business. His is the only name on the business, right? That you said you were able to find.
Right. And this was posted on March 26, 2019. He's not listed as co-owner, co-partner. He's listed as CEO of Krakenprint.
Not co-founder.
No, not the founder. He brought to my attention a statement that had been posted on January 5th, parts of which I should like to emphasize here for you. We acknowledge we have much work to do with communication and logistics. We took some time to dive into what we need to accomplish to be better and do better. Krakenprint has doubled in size in a short matter of time. Where we fell short was being able to handle the increased workload from a communication standpoint. We had more products than ever before, and the increased workload made it difficult to manage. This has been addressed, and new policies are in place to deliver the best customer service for 2019 and beyond.
Oops.
Thank you to everyone who stuck with us through our growing pains. The statement also brought attention to the fact that Krakenprint has made some ownership additions and management changes. Frederick Packard and Joshua Valeri are stepping in with majority ownership with Jacob Way.
And yet, the last documented files or documentation for ownership of that company, only Jacob Way is listed.
Could be possible that deal fell through.
Yeah.
Have you? I take it you hadn't been able to find Frederick Packard or Joshua Valeri?
No, I haven't reached out because again, everyone else is like, hey, I never dealt with these guys. I've dealt with Jacob Way.
Yeah.
And these guys aren't reaching out either from everything I understand.
Nobody's stepping up.
Yeah, no one's stepping up. And unfortunately, Jacob's going to be left holding the bag. Now,
I don't know if that's unfortunately.
Well,
if he's the only one on the.
Unfortunately for him.
Yeah, unfortunately for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't get the picture of the home to show up, Lewis, but here's the thing. Now, I've talked to some people, and they're like, well, it's not, some people, there are two sides of this. Some people believe that Jacob is completely exonerated from any of this. He took on partners, and some people even believe that it's the creators' right, the publishers and the people who have their books there, is their responsibility to pay the bill.
The publishers?
Yeah, I've read that.
We've seen people doing that. Yeah.
Wow.
Claiming that.
I mean, if the publishers owe a bill to Krakenprint, they might as well pay it to the storage company and get their stuff and go. But before I paid anything, I'd make sure that stuff existed.
Yeah.
And again, that would probably take a personal visit.
Yep.
Or a couple of quick emails with a couple of pictures or video showing the books. Right. I'd want to know how many cases there are, left to come to me.
Yeah. I mean, some people.
Can you trust these guys to actually have printed this stuff?
At this point, no.
No. So I'd want to make sure everything was there. Make sure the work was fulfilled before I paid anything.
I want to read to you guys another statement from the Facebook, and I don't want to out the person's Facebook.
Because seriously, it sounds like if the storage space was large, the amount of money due for the books that Kraken has printed far outweighs the amount of money they probably owe on that storage unit.
Well, here's the thing. One of the guys who broke the story, he said, if you have inventory in that warehouse, contact them now and tell them not to auction your books. They may be able to work something out with creators individually. If you need more time, just make sure they don't liquidate your books to pay Kraken and Jacob's outstanding bill. And that's what we're talking about. They're paying, these books are going to be liquidated to pay Kraken's bill.
Right. Yep. I'd be curious to know how big of a storage space it was and how much product they've got sitting there.
They're talking about somewhere close to 8,000 to 12,000 units, at least.
Are we talking 8,000 to 12,000 cases?
They said units, not cases.
That must be a hellacious warehouse space.
I looked at the warehouse. It's a pretty big warehouse.
It's a big warehouse. It's not a storage. It's not a storage facility.
Oh no, it's a warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
What in the world would they be doing sitting on 8,000 to 10,000 cases? All of these publishers haven't paid their bills?
No, I believe they offered a service. I believe they offered hey, we'll store your books so you don't have to have all these books in your house, and you can, get them shipped to you.
Okay.
And it hasn't worked out in their favor. An artist writes, when I spoke to Jacob last year, he mentioned that he didn't control the print side of the business and had a partner that was handling everything. Maybe he has internal company struggles going on right now related to employees. And that is a piss poor excuse, because it's a piss poor excuse. It really is.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he's stalling.
Yeah. If there's other people who've invested, where are they?
In my opinion, yes. They're definitely not on any legal paperwork, right? That you've been able to find. He hasn't ended the business, so the business still exists. He's just late paying his warehouse bill.
Someone asked, why doesn't that doesn't explain why he, as CEO, isn't paying the company's bills? Someone replies, he has a team doing all that.
That's me. I'm stepping out for a sec.
Okay. Someone replies, he has a team doing all that for him, and that team is doing a poor job. He could be finding out at the same time as you. I'm not making excuses, but he shifted his weight to a board game company 2 years ago, and his partner handled the print company.
Let's address that for a second.
Go ahead. Let it fly.
We know the gaming company that Mr. Way is associated with.
Yeah.
And we know the business partner of that company happens to be a comic book publisher as well. And that person's company's books were received and pulled out from Kraken prior to this known about.
The who what?
He was,
go ahead. Go ahead, Varian.
He was stating that we happen to know. The funny thing is, everyone's like, well, he switched his focus to a board game company 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago?
And his partner in that board game company is a comic book publisher whose books are not in the warehouse. Now, that publisher may have the space to keep their books out of the warehouse.
Yep.
I know I wouldn't have been able to. Yeah, keep them there. I'll get them when I can.
But then again, if in my opinion, that's kind of a silly move, because you want control. You want control of your product. You want control of how many are left. And that's just, in my opinion, for me at least, that'd be far too trusting. But I guess I can be a control freak. Sure.
Well, I know that people were not getting their books when they were supposed to. I know that, and that's been an issue for a while, as you can see in this, the screenshot, or not this screen I'm sharing here. But Is it the CEO's responsibility, guys, to pay the company's bills?
Yeah, he's
Or the
responsible for the
CFO.
company.
It's actually the CFO's responsibility, but when he's the only person listed with the company, he is all of the above and has responsibility.
Right. When you're the all-encompassing, you're supposed to do all the work.
If you could show me documentation that they've got a chief financial officer that's not him, then that person at least has a joint responsibility. But there is no chief financial officer listed in the documentation.
Now, I'll be honest. I'll be honest, guys. Like I said, I've been doing a deep dive into this. The board game company ain't doing too well either.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking around. I decided to check out the Kickstarter and Kickstarter comments, and people aren't happy. People ain't happy. Either they're getting the product or there's been delays.
How big of a Kickstarter was it?
Sizable.
Did they make and I take it they made their goal?
Let me see here.
Yeah. Sizable is what? $3,000, 30 grand, 300 grand.
Give me 1 second. I'll take a look for you. And I want to be as accurate as possible.
Absolutely.
I don't. I'm trying to be a trusted member of the media here. Yep. So, okay. As of June 2019, June 18th, 2019, one of their projects was canceled. $30,000 goal, made 9,782, but they canceled. I don't know if they canceled it because it was.
They made 9,000 of the 30 they were aiming for. Yeah, that Kickstarter canceled them.
Let's see here. I'm trying to see.
Unfulfilled goal. They're not going to get nothing.
Let's see here. It's kind of hard to see. I think this one is still open. And one of them is still open. Estimated delivery June 2019. Let's look at the comments here.
And again, they're running multiple campaigns.
Yeah, and someone here says, "What is going on?"
That doesn't seem right. Unless were they overlapping at all?
I'm not sure. It doesn't look like they were overlapping. I'll shoot you guys a link.
Yeah,
I don't want to out them on, but I mean, I'm being left almost little choice. I feel, but hold on now. And if you guys look at these comments, people are pissed. They're like, "Where's my game?"
Well, that's kind of typical though for any unfulfilled crowdfunding campaign, though.
Let's see here. I'm gonna send it to you as well, Lewis.
Yeah.
Let me see.
You just put it up in the
and I feel as though when I mean all this is going on. Look, some people just aren't meant for business. Okay, some people just aren't meant to run companies. Some people aren't meant to run businesses. Some people have to.
Okay, on this other one that you're talking about, they had 213 backers that pledged about $7,800 to $7,750, but let's just say $7,750 to help bring the project to life. That means that was fulfilled or should be fulfilled.
Let me see here.
Because it's something that was.
Are you talking about the one with 213 backers?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that has not been fulfilled. Oh, yeah, it should be fulfilled. Yes, right. It should be fulfilled. It has not been fulfilled.
Correct.
There are people looking for their
product. Exactly.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So that money's out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2,000 goal. Yeah.
Some people are getting theirs, but they said only after they contact other people. There's something up here available for pre-order right now. Here's the thing, guys. There's a shitstorm going on. Apparently,
did you notice that on these chats on this particular page that people who aren't in the U.S. received their game? It says 3 months ago that someone in Paris and France received it, and someone in Australia received it, but anybody who lives in the States didn't. That makes me wonder.
I'm going to actually.
It's down.
I'm gonna actually shoot you a question, and maybe it'll tickle your conspiracy theory bone. But do we know those people that actually weren't plants? That
Exactly.
I know people.
That's a good question.
I know people who do Kickstarters, and they'll actually make 2 or 3 fake profiles and bid. Not bid, but back their own projects, so they can get that. They can get over the hump, or they can get it started.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people. I know people who do that, unfortunately, and you gotta wonder sometimes. Oh, we got those dummy accounts. Just say, Bill got mine yesterday. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but you gotta consider it, because there's a lot of shiesty stuff going on.
Yeah.
And when you're silent, and it's the same thing. Oh, unhappy customers, I'm gonna be silent.
Mm-hmm.
Customers are unhappy. Let me walk the other way. I'm not gonna. If I don't see them, they don't exist. And so you guys never ran across anything like this in your years of doing comics. So let me ask you, and I'll start with you, Randy.
Well, you have to remember, we didn't have crowdfunding in the 80s, or in the 80s or 90s or 2000s.
Right. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Obviously, for most publishers, what advice are you giving publishers right now who have their books in the TWE Chicago warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being held hostage because of this Kraken bill? And I use that word hostage sparingly, because TWE is old money.
Yeah.
Right.
They are old money. What advice do you give these publishers?
Hold on. Let's look at it this way. Like you say, TWE is owed money.
Mm-hmm.
We're the publisher's supposed to be paying Krakenprint for that service, who is supposed to pay the bill for the service from the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, in a roundabout sort of way, yes, the publishers owe that money to get their, like I say, get their books out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But where the problem comes in is that there was no communication to let these publishers know that this was the situation, until now, with TWE saying, hey, we are owed money.
Yeah.
And what should have been going on was transparency, not just from Kraken, but, Kraken should have been telling the publishers, your books are at this facility. If you have any questions or issues and we can't get here, here's your contact information at the warehouse, and you can get.
I don't think the Kraken owes the publishers that kind of information if they are paid to store their books. My advice to the publishers is go get your books.
Definitely go get your books. Yes,
and make sure your books are there before you go get them.
Right, and
or before any money is transferred. You need to know what's there, what titles are there, how many of whatever titles, because Kraken might not have fulfilled everybody's orders, so there might be a lot less up there than what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer has said anybody who needs books, reach out to her.
Because apparently they've inventoried the product then.
She is going through it right now. She's contacting people as quick as she can. She is, I want to put her email up on screen here. She is contacting people, but all the emails she's getting are slowing down that process.
Yeah.
But, and they do expect to have a list of those projects and those books up on social media. Now, let's face it, there are going to be some people. I just put Jen's email up on the screen there. It's jenb, that's JENB at TWEChicago.com.
TWE Chicago is all one word, .com.
You can contact her and ask her about the, if your books are there. Email her, let her know the name of your book.
And it sounds like she'll have a full inventory up there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Available.
And you know, if you're lucky, your books aren't amongst them. If you're unlucky, you know, I just hope that you can afford to get them all out, because that's the other issue that some artists have been running past. I don't have the money. I never even, some artists are telling me, I talked to one publisher who told me he's never even received an official "we're out of business" email.
He might not have even received a bill from Kraken as to how much money he owes for the inventory that's printed.
One artist, he was going to come on, but he wanted to check with his lawyer first to make sure that he could. But he told me that he's, from what I understand, he paid his printing bill and he paid his storage bill all at the same time. And if that's the same situation across the board,
yeah, there's problems. Big problems.
There's problems. Yep. And I would say now, I guess the part two of my question is, okay, so you go get your books.
Mm-hmm.
You take out whatever loan you got to take out to go drive down to Chicago,
right?
Pick your titles.
Yep.
You bring them home. You put them in your living room. That's fine. What's your next move? Are you making a legal play toward Mr. Way, or what's the situation at that point?
Well, you're probably not going to receive your money back, because Mr. Way has either disappeared or taken, in my opinion, you're not going to see that money back. But yes, take him to small claims court. Absolutely. And jam him as hard and as fast as you can.
Could you
because small claims doesn't take a lawyer. You can go up there and, depending upon how much money you're actually paying, if it's too much money, you absolutely can't raise the money. You might have to sacrifice those books.
I have because I got to play devil's advocate here.
And then the big problem is that if they wholesale them out to somebody, they're going to move them.
I got to play devil's. Yeah. I got to play devil's advocate before we get into that, Randy. Bleeding Fool, much like IndieVolt, is the press.
Yeah.
Is that Bleeding Fool?
That's Bleeding Fool.
It's Bleeding Fool with an F.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It was just listed here on the press that Frederick Packard and Joshua Valeri, I believe, are stepping in with majority ownership with Jacob Way. Now we can't confirm that transaction actually took place.
Right.
We can't confirm that they actually are partners, but it's here in the press.
But that article is how old?
March 2019.
And you think that there would have been a paper trail by now, or that one of these two guys would have stepped up?
Yeah.
We don't even know if Frederick Packard and Joshua Valeri actually exist.
Exactly.
And that could have just been another a stall tactic. I hate to, in my opinion, raise that up as a conspiracy type thing, but man, you know,
when you have nothing backing it other than that statement.
Yeah. That's just that literally hearsay, because it said the statement also brought to attention to the fact that, you know, it's just a statement.
I happen to know, and I can't say it, but there's other partners in that company. There were other partners in that company. There were people that were helping to run that company, and they ain't listed in that name. Their name isn't on there anywhere. So maybe they were a silent partner. Maybe they're gonna. But could you now? Because
they might have just been paid employees until there wasn't anything to pay.
Yeah,
those people may no longer be associated with the company.
Would you take this out on Joshua's new board game company?
I don't think you can. You can take it out on Joshua personally, but depending upon how the papers are filed, you can't take it out on the board company. It's looking back on their other Kickstarters, they've made some profit on those games. They've everything up until the latest campaign, they went way over their goals on a lot of that stuff. So where that money is, I have no idea.
Here's the thing, and I'm not a printer. I don't know. I'm not a printer. I have no idea how it works, but according to documentation, or according to what they were saying in March of 2019, they were making good profits printing too.
Well, they probably were. Where that money is, again, nobody knows.
Was that money used to kickstart the not kickstart, but the pay for some of the
game company? No idea.
No idea, but it could be a possibility, but you have to have some sort of evidence. That's just speculation.
Further speculation: what if Krakenprint was printing out of the country and getting stuff shipped in by, container load?
Yeah.
And they had a couple of containers held up at customs, especially considering how Trump has been with the Chinese tariffs lately.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but then again,
you think that you'd see a lot of publishers screaming at this point against Kraken for product that's missing?
They are. I will link you guys to the
Facebook page. And that's the only means to contact them because they shut their regular website down.
Oh, yeah, their website, but like the chain of the guy who broke this story, it's getting longer and longer every day. And I mean, there are people who,
there's several hundred right now.
Really? Several hundred publishers?
Yeah.
Well,
there's 200 last I heard.
Wow.
Let's see here.
That's why this is so serious.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was, a couple dozen, a few dozen or something, it would be serious. But this is talking.
So these guys were literally printing for the majority of the indie companies that were out there.
Yeah.
For a good portion, yeah, around 40 to 60%. At
least.
And now here's another situation. Here's what I really want to talk about.
How many of those guys were in the green section?
I'll get to that in a second too, Randy. But let me tell you this.
Sorry, I don't mean to be jumping ahead of you.
Oh, no, fine. We understand.
There are people right now, though. One lady in this stream, in the stream of comments, who she paid for her books, and she was hoping against hope they were in the warehouse. They're not there.
How do they know? How do they know unless TWE?
Oh, she called TWE. They looked through the books and said, "No, your books aren't here."
So they do have a firm inventory on what's there and what's not there.
Oh, yeah, they have inventory.
Okay.
They know that her books aren't there. 2 different titles aren't there that were paid for. They aren't there. They aren't there.
That might not be small claims court. That might be all out fraud.
And how many?
In my opinion, I'm not a lawyer. But
how many people are like that? How many people have books that are out there that they can't get to now because they don't know and they don't know where they're at? And you mean to tell me this person is going to be running a board game company, pushing out?
Well, considering their last campaign was canceled, are you sure that the board game company is still in existence?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yes, oh yes, because.
We know that.
Go ahead. I'm gonna make Randy's hat spin for a second.
What? Hang on. Okay, that was a text that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Go ahead.
That's what it is.
What?
Like, you got a text message. Shut that black guy up.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. The board game company is still around, Randy. The board game company has been at several shows. They were actually at Saginaw.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, no, there was somebody representing their inventory at Saginaw.
Yeah.
The company people weren't actually there, right?
I have no. They weren't there, but someone representing their company was. Now, I will say this too.
But they were tied in with another company that does all of the conventions, so they could just be moving stock from these previous campaigns.
Well, one of the partners of the company is also a publisher.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with that. From what I'm understanding from the people I've talked to, that stock, their books aren't there. So it becomes a question of what did this publishing company know and when did they know it? They seem to have inside information to know that let's get the hell out. Let's get out. But
to play the other side of the coin here, that other publishing company is pretty sizable, and they might already have their own warehouse, and they might be controlling their own stock as well.
And from what I understand, they do. They do have a warehouse of sorts, but
that warehouse wasn't opened until February of this year.
Okay. So I didn't know that, but
you know that for a fact.
Yes.
Oh man.
And this stuff started in March.
Holy crap.
So here we go.
Oh wow. Yeah, that doesn't
And you know,
Oh, that's a coincidence, isn't it?
this is not a coincidence.
That's an amazing coincidence. It's a startling coincidence, Lewis. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, there might be a nice little legal trail rolling all through all of this.
Yes.
If I was a publisher, I'd definitely get that rolling. Like tomorrow. Boom. Start rolling. Yeah. But for one, don't if you're a publisher out there, don't trust anybody with your inventory. You got to take control of that stuff. You got to have a handle on it. You really do. Granted, I got a basement back here. You know what my inventory has been, Lewis. You've been here twice to my house. I got cases sitting in my basement, But man, you got to be able to control your own inventory and not trust people on the good hopes or the good wishes or the goodwill of somebody. If you send them some money for shipment and you're paying them to store your stuff, pay a local guy to store your stuff. And you need to be comparing those costs because a little storage unit up here is probably not as much as what you're paying these guys to store your stuff.
I think the only
I feel for everybody caught in this situation.
Yeah, but part of the reason I think they went with this with the whole storage situation with TWE was
convenience. They were talked into it.
Well, not just convenience.
Hey, we can hang on to your books for you if you want. It's a small storage fee.
Well, no, it's not just that. jenb can, Jennifer Bunger can confirm or deny this. I haven't asked her, and I know Varian hasn't asked, but I think they have a direct line to get stuff to Diamond. And that would I don't know for sure. Whereas if you have
that's all your opinion,
huh?
Yeah, that's all your opinion.
That's what
that just makes everybody look dirty, Lewis.
It's not an opinion. It's I don't know if that is something that may have been available.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Because some printers do have a direct line to ship it to Diamond.
Oh yeah, printers do, not warehouse places though.
Yeah,
do they? Well, I would imagine that Kraken would have that direct. Hey, I need 5,000 of this book done. You need to ship them to Diamond right away.
I believe in TW. Let me see, because some people said they were one guy. That
makes them more than a warehouse. Then they're a fulfillment service as well.
That's what TWE is a fulfillment, not just a warehouse.
Okay,
they do transportation and logistics. So yeah.
Man. That's what I was saying. I don't know if Kraken was selling TWE as the fulfillment through Diamond to get to your books to get.
Here's the other thing too. TWE has been very good as you pay your bill. One guy said he got his books next day.
That's right. TWE is not the issue here.
But they had to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
So he probably paid FedEx.
FedEx or UPS, whoever. Yeah.
That ain't cheap.
No, it's not.
Not for a case of books.
And I'm pretty sure that might be freight. Because the way it was explained to me was
you're looking at you're looking at lots of money in shipping alone.
Worst case situation here. Now, here's what I thought, Randy. You know that I've tinkered with the distribution idea myself. And Peter Samedi is also tinkering with it. I asked Jennifer, when is this auction going through? Is there opportunity for maybe me or Peter Samedi or whomever to come in, buy these books to kickstart your inventory of indie books that you're gonna do a
little Storage Wars bidding?
Yeah, a little big lots, Ollie's type of situation there.
Little big lots.
Yeah. But that information, let's hope it doesn't come to that. I would rather the auction not happen and these people get all their books.
Right.
But if it does, if you were starting a distribution company today, is that something you're looking forward to? Or you're going to keep an eye on?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I would. That's just you're asking for some really bad blood.
Yeah.
Because there's some publishers out there that don't have control of their product anymore, and you're moving them out, distributing them. That might be rough.
That's a Kevin Clady situation.
And I have no idea who you just referenced, Lewis.
The guy that offered you to buy all your back stock and then flaked out years ago. That guy.
What happens if you what happens to the people now, though, who said, "Wait a minute, my book should be there"? What do you mean my books aren't there? I paid these guys.
What that's saying is that books were paid for, but they were never printed
and paid to be stored.
Right.
That don't exist. That's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm. It is a matter of finding the person and.
You mentioned, both of you mentioned going down, because Mr. Wade's address is publicly available. Going down to Mr. Wade's home. No, we don't talk about
going to the home. We're talking about going to
going to the fulfillment center and doing that. But are you going to go down like the one gentleman did and serve him notice at his door, like, "Hey, I'm taking you to small claims court if you don't get."
Yeah, I would. That's one of those things that you need to leave to the professional.
Mm-hmm.
I would pay a professional server to go in and get it done. Then you have a court record that it was done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's your intention. Boom, Mm-hmm. And I'd get that. I'd go and get the court case or get the court the docket rolling on it and everything. I just file and get it going.
Dave says, "Hey everyone, how you doing, Dave?"
Because it's going to take. This is going to take years to get settled out 100%. It's going to take years, unless somebody miraculously pulls up money and stock and everything goes back to normal.
Well, Kraken,
if there ever was a normal,
Kraken's gone. Randy, Lewis, both of you at one at a time. We'll start with you, Lewis. Is there a way? Is there a path to redemption here for Mr. Way?
I don't know the man. I don't know the man's personal situation.
If he pulls legal papers out of his files and shows that he's no longer responsible or doesn't hold any interest in that company, probably. I don't think, if you haven't been able to find them, they might not exist.
Randy, did you last minute substitute file for ass? Because you said pull paperwork out of this, and I knew for a second you were gonna say ass, and you said file.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah, the thing, it's not just
that's an expression. It's just if there's paperwork out there you're not aware of, which is possible.
Yeah, it's possible, but
then he'll be free and clear and can go on his whatever way.
But shouldn't the paperwork be notarized? Shouldn't it be?
Oh yeah. The first thing he should have done if he sold a controlling stock in that company is made sure there was documentation that it was done.
If it's not notarized from at least
doesn't exist
from 2019 of whenever, then it's moot. No,
I think he could because something is notarized tomorrow and be relieved of all of that debt. He'd just have to sign a contract paper stating that.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody signing that, relieving him of that debt, would be an idiot, in my opinion. But
right.
It's possible. Anything's possible. This is a wonderful comic book business, dude. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I guess what we're saying here is, the redemption would be for him to come forward and resolve this and get these people their books
back in June.
And that would be redemption. But we're not looking at any sort of reality there.
Well, I have the suspicion that he has disappeared.
Yeah, I think he's well. This is the thing. Has he disappeared? Because he's still part of that gaming company.
Randy, if you are if Jacob Way was partners with you in a still going Flint Comics, what do you do?
Disassociate as quickly as possible and make sure it's all legal. Get him out of there. Yeah.
Do you explain to Jacob why?
Well, I'm sure he knows why. I don't have to explain nothing. It's like, dude, it's time for you to go. You need to cut your losses. You need to cut us away because I don't want to be responsible for your mess. Now, can you go back on the other people on the gaming company for the stuff that happened in the printing company? I sincerely doubt it.
No.
I don't think you're going to be able to do that. You'd have to run a trail that those investors were also into Krakenprint. You'd have to be able to prove that. I don't know if that's doable.
The only way that happens is, in my opinion, and Lewis, I'm gonna let you say what you guys say. The only way that happens is that if there is so many people who had their books printed that didn't receive them. And they would have to prove, I think, that, okay, well, no, we did print the books, but the problem is they're sitting in customs over, in China. Or, I would like to see how deep this goes, and I'm still investigating, but I want to see how deep this goes, and that maybe the printer is missing out on money too. Wouldn't that be something?
There might be books all over the world.
Yeah.
We don't know. We can't say. It's all conjecture.
And here's another question I have. Who's printing the gaming company's books and products?
Well, here's the thing. The interesting thing too.
Well, I would say if Kraken's out of business, it ain't Kraken.
True enough, but then again, if something went out of business doesn't mean that you got rid of the equipment. Well,
the other thing too, from what I understand, Kraken used overseas printers. They were almost a front, not a legal front, but a front for, we'll get all your books together. It's like if you paid, me to print your books, and then I go run them to Michigan Web Press and print them and bring them back. And say, here you go. I take a little bit off the top, and
so in other words, they weren't an actual printer.
I don't.
Well, that's the job responsibility of a printer broker, and I've dealt with those in the past.
Yeah, and then there's a difference too. There's two different things. So if they called themselves a printer and they were a printer broker, right there, it's fraud.
Yep, I'm afraid it is. If there's books that they say existed, especially if they were charging them storage fee, and they don't exist, fraud.
But that's when people start following the money.
Yes. But immediately before all of this goes up for auction, these publishers need to get over there. They need to know what's there, how much is there, and they need to get it out of their hands and back into their hands so that they can control their own product. That would be, if I was a publisher and had that problem, Monday I'd be grabbing a van or whatever I could grab, and I'd be running over there and picking up all my stock for whatever's due, and I would just wash my hands of that business.
You'd be leaving tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning.
Yep. And then any differences or anything that I've owed,
I got to go get a van.
anything that I've paid that covers that expense would go right back on Jacob and anybody else that I could pin for that money.
I gotta give it to the other publishers in this industry though. There are a lot of publishers. There's some publishers who are local and they've been offering, hey, if you can get your books, I will pick your books up for you. I will store your books for a little while at my house until you can get down and pick them up.
That's incredibly generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to give it to the other publishers who are doing that. That's very considerate, very generous, and a way to make this horrible situation a little bit more tolerable.
Yeah.
Because people are out of. I mean, I talked to one guy who told me there's no way he can afford his books. He can't afford them. There's zero way he can afford them. So hopefully he reaches out. Maybe Jennifer can do something for him, allow him a little bit longer time. I mean, but they, that warehouse.
She'd probably, as long as he was responsible and paying monthly on it, she'd probably provide that and a storage fee.
Yeah.
Because they're not there to be friends with the printer or with the publisher. They're there to make money. That's their goal. That's why they're doing this in the first place, is they want to recoup some of that money that's due them.
Yeah.
Or as much of that money as they can get their hands on.
I wonder, and now the printer also said they released information because, and I read this to you guys. Hold on one second. Give me, oops. Boy, everything's. And I'll tell you this: if I'm Jacob, I'm not showing up at any Comic-Cons.
We don't even know if where Jacob is or if he exists. We don't even know if he found those papers that the guy left at his door. That's why you need to have a proper server.
TWE released a statement at 7:18 p.m. It says, if you are the owner or creator of any title listed below, please contact us. Trash talk will not be tolerated, and please do not post anyone. So here are the titles that are available. Okay.
Is there a long list?
That's not that long.
Okay.
Not that long. Okay. So what do we have here? We have Spiral, Only Human, Angel's Power, It's All in Your Head, Mummy's Always Right, Veterinary Clinic, The Misplaced, No Country for Old Kobolds, Destiny, New York, Bible 2, Arcane Awakening 2. I know the creator of that book.
That Bible 2 is a big prestige format book.
Yeah, Bible 2. I know the creator of that book as well.
Yeah.
Jade Dragon, Judge, Synthicide, Modern Dread, Sig, Team Synergy, Stoupakis Genesis, The Few and the Cursed, Action Tank, Super Volume 1, Boston Meta, Chronicles, 7th Sea Booty. Say again?
I've heard of Chronicles and a couple of others.
7th Sea Booty Box, Vonn Sketchbook 2.
7C Booty Box?
Yes.
BOOTY?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Those Shadow People, Sioux Falls, which is the UV, which is also the creator of the Bible 2, and A Light Before the Darkness. Those books are in the warehouse. There are a few more titles that are in the higher racks, and we are not able to get to them at this moment. Check back Tuesday afternoon. We will try to update by then. Also, please understand this is a holiday weekend, so we may not answer very quickly.
Okay. So we're talking about what, 20, 30 titles right there?
Sounds like it.
Just about. Yeah. I mean, and there could be more. There could be more. She said there are
more, but we know of at least 25 to 30. Say.
Yeah, and there's stuff on the higher racks. So
right.
Who knows how much that could be.
And we're talking now. Here's the thing. I also know. I know that they do not print, because I know publishers who printed them. They do not print small quantities. I think I was told before, like minimum was like a 1,000 or something like that.
That's a small quantity.
That's a small quantity.
Oh yeah, I mean, but you know, 1,000 books.
No, we're not talking the 40.
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
No,
we're not talking 25 a hit.
No.
No, we're talking
20. I'm printing 25 for every convention.
2,500 and 3,000 units.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is my guess.
Is that printing? They wouldn't print anything under 2,000.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that it's, they're probably in the 2,000 to 3,000 range. A lot of these books,
probably.
So you got to figure at that price for storage,
especially if they're a thick prestige format book.
Well, yeah, the prestige format, but just regular comics.
There's pallets.
Yeah, there's pallets for that, and that if there's pallets for that, that's what, 40 or 50 boxes in the pallet, or 140 a pallet.
It's 8, at least 16. You would think 16 boxes, probably more.
Okay, so we're talking 16. Yeah, okay. So 16. They probably have to owe between 300 and 600 per publisher for just the back pay on the storage. Each one of them.
Yeah.
Depending, and then again, that depends on how long those books have been in storage. The guy who paid $350 might have only been a recent guy, and if those books have been there longer than 3 months, and it turns out that this person hasn't paid for longer, it could go higher.
Now, was TWE just after the storage bill, or did they want the whole Kraken bill? What they owed for printing and storage?
Well, the TWE they don't have any.
They didn't specify.
They don't have anything with the store printing. The books are delivered to them. They just store.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I understand, you're paying your half of Kraken's bill. So I guess they're divvying it up like somehow mathematically. Like, this is how much space you use. This is how much space we would have charged them. So this is what we're.
So they're just charging them storage money. That all of these books are already paid for to Kraken.
Yeah.
Oh man, go get those books. Oh, yeah. Go get them. No matter how bad you don't have the storage space for them, make the storage space. Go get them.
What if you don't have the money?
Got to go get them. Got to make the money. Got to find the money. Whatever you got to do. Get a credit card. Do whatever you have to do. Go get the money. Go get the books.
Yeah, the guy who paid $350 that you were talking about earlier, that bill, based on what I'm guessing. I mean, I don't have all the information. I'm just guesstimating. That bill that TWE wants is going to be $725, and he's paying $350 for his books. based on what I know about that sort of thing. But it's not having the actual documents to know what it is
Yeah, they need to go get that material, or they're going to forfeit them books.
And those books are going to be forfeit, and they're not going to be liquidated they're going to be liquidated. And I know, and before publishers, hear me out. I know you're thinking, well, it'll be cheaper if I buy them at liquidation than it will be to get the books out. No, it won't.
No,
because the thing is,
they're going to sell them all as a group.
They're going to sell them all as a group. Number one, and number two, they're going the highest bidder.
Yeah.
Here's something most interesting, guys. Here's something very, really interesting. I'm scratching my head about this now. This is weird. So TWE has been in contact. They've been actually pretty active on their social media.
Mm-hmm.
And they reply to a creator. They say a creator thanked them for looking out for creators and actually going through the content and contacting people because they had no responsibility. They did not have to do that.
No.
They could have just shipped those books off and said, yep. And then we're finding them in Ollie's and everything. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But they said, we are sorry we have all been put in this situation. This is from TWE. Mm-hmm. This is not a typical scenario for us. We love all the support the creators have provided to us during this ordeal. A gentleman who didn't know his books were there, but they're on the list. He says, yes, those are my books. Thank you so much for letting me know. Maybe you guys want to mute your mics because you're gonna like either smack your foreheads or gasp.
Go ahead.
I did not know that Kraken kept any of my books. It was never a conversation I had with them. If the books are not damaged, I would definitely love to arrange getting them to New York City. Thanks again.
Okay, so what he's saying is basically he thought he got his full allotment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Randy's
and that's entirely possible.
Oh, we're looking at an Ollie's situation. This is why Marvel and DC moved all that overstock to Ollie's.
Mm-hmm.
It's because when you're dealing with foreign printers,
mm-hmm.
if you hit their minimum, you get a certain per unit cost
mm-hmm.
that sometimes is cheaper than the amount that you actually need to print.
Do you think, Randy?
For example, there could have been a book that somebody needed $3,000 for, and it cost them $1 a unit to print.
Mm-hmm.
But if you printed 5,000, your per unit cost dropped to like 50 cents a print.
Mm-hmm.
So you printed 5,000, you sent the 3 to the guy, you stashed the other 2.
When he needs them, you charge him.
Man, you sit on him. And then if he comes back and goes, dude, I could use another 2,000 books. Well, okay, but we'll have to charge you more because it's a lower per unit cost.
Plus, remember,
and they've got the 2,000 already sitting in their warehouse.
If they've already paid for it at half the cost, and remember, they charge the publisher the full cost that they told them the first round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they already paid the buck for the 3,000. Not know if there was an extra 2,000. So they paid that extra 50 cents a print. So
that's business, right? That's business.
That's a gamble. That's a fraud kind of gamble.
That's business,
in my opinion, that might be legal, but man,
no, it's not legal. Because that's the thing. It's not legal.
It's not ethical.
Yeah,
it might still be legal. It's not ethical though.
You
might want to, Varian, as a reporter for IndieVolt, you might want to go out and find those publishers that are responsible for them titles.
I'm in contact with a few of them.
You might find them. You might go through and look for a few more and see if that story holds up. Because that might not be us. That might be
a whole new answer.
No, because for Kraken, that's all money that's already made.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, that's just sitting there that's redundancy, and they don't care. They're done.
Yeah,
they're done. They're out. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's vicious.
Yeah. So this guy didn't even know his books.
Yeah, that's just low.
But
I mean that, and we're talking the comic business, and there's been sleazy people in the comic business. It kind of seems to breed them sometimes, especially in the executive area. But
man, and I want to read this.
Wow.
I want to read this to everybody because the original post says, Hey, comic creators who have printed with Krakenprint and still have inventory in their warehouse. I have received a phone call from the warehouse yesterday stating, this is on August 29th, stating, they're saying that Kraken has not paid their invoices since at least June this year, and CEO Jacob Way has not responded to any of their emails requesting payment. Because of this, the warehouse has put a lien on all the inventory currently in their stock. Unless you reach out to the warehouse this week and pay your portion of Kraken's bill, they're going to put the inventory up for auction. Okay. See below for the warehouse contact info. No one from Kraken reached out to me to inform me of this issue. This was a courtesy call from the warehouse and also an effort from them to recoup outstanding costs from Kraken, I'm sure.
You really need to find out how many people knew that those books existed.
Yeah,
you really do.
The warehouse
that could be a major story, man.
It is. It is. I will. The warehouse informed me that they made this call knowing this inventory didn't belong to their printer, but was instead the property of the individual creators. Wow. They also told me over 60 plus creators currently have inventory in their warehouse under Kraken's contract, and I am not sure if they have reached out to all of them.
That didn't sound like 60 plus creators to me.
No, well, that was at the time. A lot of people have reached out.
Okay.
A lot of people have reached out. A lot of people have secured their books now, but there are still people whose books are there who, I know one guy told me he can't afford it. He doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. You need to put out an open call to see how many people knew that those books existed.
Yeah. Well, we know one guy had no idea. Man. No idea the books were there. And he didn't order them. So you know what they did. Again, like you just said, Randy, they printed the books, probably at 50 cents per book.
That's why Ollie's got all the stock they did, and they're able to charge the amount of money they did because they paid Marvel and DC pennies on the dollar for stock that was already paid for.
Guys, I got a question for you. This happens. Any of you go into a store, wherever it is, and you find your book on the shelf, tagged with that orange Ollie sticker or that Second and Charles, was it orange? They got an orange sticker too. Yeah. That orange sticker of doom, $2.99, $3.99, whatever.
You're talking about trade, of course.
No. Trade, yeah. How are you feeling about that?
Well, depending how much I spent per unit and how much they're charging.
How much did I get mine already or not? I mean,
yeah, I'd probably buy as many as I could just to have them to resell them at shows.
That's right.
That's just me though, and I'd be driving around to all of the other locations of that box store that I found them at. I got to kind of pick them up.
I got an email from someone that's on IndieVolt Radio right now. Okay.
Hello to all the IndieVolt Radio listeners, by the way.
Yeah.
So far, all I've ever seen.
You guys are great.
Hi.
It's from Leo K. And Leo K says, interesting story, guys. Wondering if TWE was the only warehouse they use. How many other warehouses may have books out there?
We have no idea on
that. That's also an excellent question. But I would imagine there was only one. Depending, you would want to keep a cap on that kind of stuff. So I would be shocked if there was more than one warehouse. Not totally surprised, just shocked.
Well, I mean, if they were trying to ship books, we'll drop ship from here and drop ship from here, and there could be another warehouse out there.
But that's the only one we've heard of so far.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's
let's. I mean, as sizzling and scintillating as that thought might be, as far as a news story, let's not jump ahead of the curve yet.
I'm not.
That's a can of worms. You really don't want to get open. That just doubles the problem.
Yeah, I don't think they would have had a second warehouse.
Yeah, I don't either.
Just don't know if they were moving that type of volume. However,
who knows?
If there is out there, if there's another warehouse, hopefully that warehouse will also come forward. But some warehouses aren't like that. Some warehouses, they're like storage wars. Hey, we made a call to the people who put it here. Click. All right.
Let's keep an eye on that 5th and Charles and Ollie's there for a while.
2nd and Charles, yeah.
2nd and Charles, 5 and below.
Yeah.
Dollar General, who knows?
Gosh. It's
a question.
Somebody uses the words indie blowout, you'll know something's going on.
We laugh, but it's not
Indie comics blowout.
It's not. It is a real sad situation because there are people. If you pay for your books and you have not got them, then you definitely need to be in a lawyer's office tomorrow morning, getting the ball rolling legally.
From the way it sounds, most of these people never knew those books existed.
Yeah. And so, Randy.
God, I wish somebody would call me up if they've been holding on to cases of Spank #1. God bless them. I want them.
Randy, is there a situation? What's the realities of that?
What?
Okay, I got a question. Just, all right. If I have my printers here. My printers here in Michigan. My printer prints on demand, basically. Just like Kraken was supposed to.
Yeah.
But they also made a surplus of books without my permission. And now those books can be put out in the public, out of my control, out of my business plan, outside of, what I have planned for these books. Do these books, I gave them permission. I asked for 3,000. You printed 5,000. 2,000 of those books, in my opinion, are bootlegs.
Yep.
That's true. But the thing is that they tell you about those 2,000.
No.
Okay.
I didn't know.
That would be time to call up your lawyer friend.
Yeah.
And string them up as hard and as fast as you can.
I just call Lewis now. Lewis called
wherever they are. Wherever they are. And I'd be screaming to the media too as I'm filing papers.
He wants to turn into Wolverine, I swear to
God. I'll sick Lewis on him. Lewis, call these guys up and tell them this cuss them out. But yeah, I don't understand. This story, just the more layers you pull off of it, the more
worms fall out of that can.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if the story might be different by tomorrow morning. We might find out some more information.
Good.
We guys, now that this has happened, what advice do you have for publishers besides don't let a company hold your stock? Should you be making sure they're not making an overrun of your book?
I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd be able to do that.
That's all under their radar. That's all. Well, we don't know where these 2,000 come from. You ordered 3. Suddenly there's 2 extra. What can you do? That's just that's not ethical, but what can you do?
Because here's the thing: 2,000 books that you didn't order that are sitting in a warehouse now that you can pay for if you want, but if you don't pay for them, they're gonna be liquidated to someone else who's gonna take them and sell them, and that person has a right to sell those books if they buy them.
Might explain where some of the profits for Krakenprint went to the storage bills for books that didn't exist.
And then the books that people did pay for, they didn't get printed and aren't in the warehouse.
Those could be on them. Those could be on a pallet, or those could be over at the printer
because there are people
waiting for their print bill to get paid.
Yeah,
and you just don't know.
There are people in this thread right now who are hoping their books are in the top racks.
Yeah,
they're not. They're like the lottery. Like, oh, please call my number. Please call my number.
Yeah,
because I paid X amount of dollars, and
you got to feel for those people.
Yeah.
Especially if they're late, especially because Diamond's already canceled their book order if they didn't receive it in time.
Good news. Yeah, 45 days late for some people. Good news, everybody, though. There's a good chance that you might have more books than you thought. Yeah. So, you may order 1,000
and all you have to do is pay the storage fee in order to get them. Wow.
Yeah.
That might be a big bonus.
Yeah.
You might be able to blow your own book out and make money.
Yeah. So you might actually come out ahead because
way ahead.
Books have been printed.
Yep. But again, go get them. Go get control of that inventory. If it's your stuff, your company, get it. Control it and do whatever you have to with it in order to recoup your investment.
I got a last question for you guys, just real quick. Let's say you print it 1,000 books, but you get a call. Hey, we have 4,000 of your books here, and we need $500 for you to pay for. And you say, okay, either one of you, you're okay.
500 for $4,000. Yes, I'm going to go get my books.
Yeah. And you go get your books, and then you get contacted by the printer, and they say, hey, we had 5,000 books in the warehouse, 4,000 books in the warehouse. You only paid for 1,000, but it seems that you've gotten more. We're going to need you to actually pay us for those. Wait, is that it, Randy?
Better be hearing a lot of this. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And I'd go over there and make sure it was done.
Yeah.
I'd say that you better be grinding, because all of that's pulp recycled. You better get it there.
Let's see here.
Because what else can you do?
I mean, you guys, let's see here. 1 second. I logged out of my email. Let me log right back in, because I see I had one more email. Let me see. Let me.
With the printer situation that you just mentioned, I mean, if they already shipped out the books, I mean, why would they even ship to a warehouse if they hadn't already been paid? So if I already got the books from the warehouse, the printer comes back and says you didn't pay us, I'd say bullshit.
Well, yeah, that's like I said, those people that don't have those books in the warehouse, they're probably sitting overseas at the printer waiting to be paid.
That's true.
Yeah.
But what he said was you bought your books at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Which means the printer had to be paid to get them to the warehouse.
Oh yeah, the printer won't move those books unless they have
printed 5,000, and you're only supposed to get 1,000. We want to pay for the extra 4,000. You tell them to screw off, because there's no way. That's not the same.
Check this out, guys. So Leo K wrote another message, excuse me, and thank you, Leo K, for listening to us on IndieVolt Radio. He says, another question. Considering how negligent they were with the physical books, imagine the condition or the location of your digital files. Can't wait to get those high quality PDFs.
Yeah, I'd be looking at some of the pirate sites, but again, it all depends upon the product. I doubt that he would go through and pirate the PDFs unless there was some profit in it.
Shit, they might have sold the computers.
They might have.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, you got to learn to control your inventory as much as possible.
Control your property, not just your inventory.
I know the guy I print my newsprint books from. He doesn't file and keep anything on file. I bring him down a disc. He uses the disc. He trashes the disc. It's chewed. Mm-hmm. So, and if ever I need a reorder, like I just went back for second printings on the preserver stuff, I had to provide him with fresh files, which was really cool. I was happy to do it because I could run a little second print in the indicia, just so you can keep the editions of the books apart.
Right.
But my printer doesn't keep files like that. I imagine the other printers are the same way. They're not going to keep them on storage. But whether Kraken has them on storage or not, it's a whole different matter.
I know
what they did with them.
My printer keeps them stored.
Does he?
My printer keeps them stored. Yeah.
Well, it'd be a hell of a storage, amount unless they're all digital.
Keeps the digital file stored.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps the digital file.
Takes up space.
Guys, this story is still developing. Still.
Yep.
And I have a feeling it's going to take years for it to get settled. So there'll be a lot more on this.
And we will follow it. We'll follow it. And anybody who wants to come on and talk about it, talk about their books, and maybe even get some help, because I'm surprised. Honestly, I was kind of surprised there was no crowdfunding to get the books out of there.
Yeah. And if we haven't, that's true too. And if we have anything wrong in this story, please come on here and set us straight.
If you want to have, and if you're Jacob, you want to come on and talk to us about it, we can play fair. We're not gonna dog power. We just want to know, what happened.
Right. Just give us the information. We want, it's more about transparency and correctness than to sit there and dog you.
And that's really the purpose of this program today, is just to get that information out there.
Yeah, there are books out
and to give opinion on it. Yeah.
There are books out there that people have not gotten. I'm going to actually post those books, those titles, so people have, they know to contact them, because people don't know their books are there, and you might even think your books are, you got them all, and there's 1,000 copies getting ready to be
or 2,000 or 3,000.
And I promise you, Randy said it earlier. This industry, the comic book industry, can produce some of the most shittiest people. Excuse my language. So you will go to a con and you will see someone sitting in the artist alley.
Yep.
Blow out. Like you said, hey, I'm selling these indie books from an indie creator. And you're like, or somebody buys your books and tries to sell them back to you.
So some guy in a sport jacket that looks like hasn't been washed in 3 years, sitting there going, I don't know, I just bought them from somewhere for 50 cents a piece, and I'm selling them for 75 cents or $1. Just or 10 for 20, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're there at every convention.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone, please reach out.
Almost every convention.
Yeah, almost every convention. Again, everyone, reach out to jenb at twechicago.com. I'm going to post the number of books that are there. I'm going to post the names of the books that are there. I'm also going to post Jen's email in the description of this video. And that's it for us, guys. Any closing words?
No, I just feel for all of those publishers out there that are having to deal with this situation. So I hope they get through it, and I hope they come out on top. Mm-hmm. Especially if these are books that they were waiting to get in that, Diamond has gone through and already canceled their orders on.
And if you haven't got your books.
And again, here we are with a situation with Diamond. And, we know what Diamond's policies are. But when you've got something like this, that is this explosive, Diamond, you need to step up. You need to give these guys a break. We know that they're not going to do it. But it's time to start showing some class.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we want everybody in the green section to just dry up and blow away.
I know.
But yeah, that would be nice in a perfect world.
Yeah,
it'd be good.
Yeah, pretty bad. Well, I hope everyone gets their books. I hope they don't get liquidated. Seems that TWE is willing to work with the creators to get their books. They're not. They're obviously under no obligation to work with you, but the fact that they're willing to do so is, they deserve a fruit basket, I think. Yeah. So yeah, everyone, again, and this is not. I want to stress this. This is not their warehouse's fault. They are entitled to the funds that they were promised to store that material. Right.
This is the responsibility of Krakenprint.
Right. They're just looking to be made whole. That's all.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you both for joining me. And if anybody wants to reach out to Randy or Lewis, they can do so at their respective emails and Twitters. Randy is it you're not Zim Geek on Twitter. You're
no Randy. I'm Randy Zim on Twitter. ZIMM.
Yeah. And Randy, you'll be willing to talk about this on Facebook, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I know
I'm on Facebook.
Whoop, sorry.
Lewis as well. Be willing to talk about it. He's Lewis Bright Raven.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can reach me at email Lewis quote the Raven LBR72@gmail.com.
And we'll all want to talk about it. If you want to come on the show, let us know. We're all pretty nice guys. we just want to make sure that everyone's getting taken care of in the industry, especially when you pay for comic books.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. We're going to sign off ending the special broadcast. If anything changes, the webs, we will post it on IndieVolt.com.
We'll be back tomorrow night, right?
Oh yeah, tomorrow night at 9:00.
Yeah.
PM with our special guest. We have Simon coming in with his book Blood Hunt, and also Mr. Hart Fisher is going to be with us tomorrow, which is going to be exciting because Hart's been someone that I've admired for quite a while. The fact that he says everything, like he's pissing people off in the industry.
He's coming in after the 10 o'clock hour, right?
No. We're gonna bring him right in at 9. We're bringing him right in.
Slam that TV-14 up in the corner, and there we go. It'll be a very interesting time.
Yeah.
Art's got a lot of awesome opinions.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's got a lot to say.
All right, guys. I will see everyone out there later. I'm pretty sure we'll hang around for a little bit and talk. But yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Someone else to comment. Oh yeah, that's Lewis. Okay. All right. We'll see everyone soon.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Yep.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.